Hi everyone, my name's Bill and welcome to my channel. Before we get started, please consider subscribing to my channel and possibly becoming a patron. This video is going to help RadioMaster T8 Pro owners to set up a drone, a basic drone in their radio. So let's switch over to the radio and I will show you how to do this. First thing we're going to do is hit the model button and we're going to go down to a spare number. We're going to then push enter. And we're going to enter again to say create, and now we're going to pick up we're going to move down to multi, push enter, and this will assist us to set up our drone. So I'm going to default on all of the 4 primary channels, so roll, pitch, yaw and throttle. Now here, okay, arm, I'm happy to have that on switch SA, and then we can do page forward. Now mode, I'm going to move to switch to SB, which is here. So we're going to push enter, and then we're going to move up one, and SB selected, push enter. Now we can move forward again. The beeper, I'm going to put that on, I think, let's put that one on SD. Yeah, let's do that, enter. So we're going to put that one on SD. That's the bottom one here. So we're going to push enter. We're going to page forward, and if we're happy with those settings, which I am, we're going to long press. Now let's push return, okay, and then we're going to page over. Now we're going to change the name, so I will speed this up. We're going to push enter. Now we need to do page up to get to Q for quad, and hold the enter key down. Now we get a capital. I'll speed this up. And we push return. Now that's everything I'm going to set up here. We could set a timer up if you wanted to, but because we normally get the telemetry back for our quads, we would normally just look at our OSD and see how our battery is doing. But you could set a timer up if you wanted to. Now let's move on to the special functions. We're going to move across. And there we go, we're going to push enter. First one we're going to set up is the armed. So I'm going to flick the switch back and then forward because that's where I want it to say armed. I'm going to enter, and then I'm going to go across, push enter, and then I want to find play track. Play track, there we go, enter. Move across, push enter, and then we're going to say armed. So we're going to move down to armed, and we're going to enter. And there we go, push return, and then we move down. So now we've got our armed button set up. Now we're going to push enter once, flick the switch this way. Oh, beg your pardon, not that one, the A switch, there we go. Push enter, we're going to move across, we're going to say play track, and we're going to go to play track, push enter. And then we're going to go across and push enter, and then we're going to find disarm, which would be there. There we go, push enter, and then we return, and we can move down. And let's just test that now.
Armed.
Armed.
Disarmed.
Okay, there we go. Now let's move on to the mode switch, this one here. I'm going to push enter, and I'm going to flick my mode switch to forward. Push enter, and we're going to move over, enter, and then we're going to pick play track, enter, and move over, or back that way, enter. And this time, this is going to be acro, so there is acro, so we should be good. So we can push return, and then we can move down. Now we're going to push enter again. Now we're going to put the switch in the middle position, push enter. We're going to move across, push enter, and this time we're going to play track again, play track, and we're going to move over, oops, wrong way, and then this one we are going to pick up, this will be angle. So let's just see if we've got, I think it might say flight mode, there we go. Flight mode angle, so we could have used acro, flight mode acro if you wanted to. Okay, and then we push return, And we're going to move down. We're going to hit the switch again, the enter. When we're going to pull the switch back towards us, push enter. Go back to play track, enter, play track. We've got to select and enter, and then forward, whoops, forward, enter, and now we're looking for flight mode, horizon. There we go, flight mode horizon. Now we can push return, we can move down, and now let's test it.
Acro mode on. Flight mode angle. Flight mode horizon. Flight mode angle. Acro mode on.
Okay, so we could actually go back if we wanted to. I probably personally prefer to go into here. Edit. I want to. Oops, I don't want to do any of that. So push return. I want to enter and I want to go across. I'm going to just change that to the flight mode one. So I wanted to show you how to do that. So you can go back in, change that flight mode, and that would be acro. There we go. Okay, so then return. Let's move down. Let's just test it again.
Flight mode angle. Flight mode horizon.
So in horizon.
Flight mode angle.
And then
flight mode acro.
There we go. That's the flight mode setup. And the final one is going to be the buzzer. So we know the buzzer's on because you could be quite a way away from your quadcopter. So, and you'll want to just verify that it's on. So the buzzer is going to be D down here. That's going to be in the back position. So push enter. And there we go. Oops, wrong way, but anyway. There we go. Play track. Play track. Move over, oops, wrong way, and enter, and then we're going to say buzzer, enter. Then we push return, and we move down, and now our buzzer should work.
Buzzer.
One more time.
Buzzer.
And there we go. That's the special function setup. The next two parts of the video that are coming up are from my T8 Pro setup for a plane. They're exactly the same. It's when you reset your switch default positions so you don't get an error when you turn your radio on, and also I'm going to show you how to bind your receiver to the radio, which again is exactly the same. Then I'm going to just switch over to Betaflight to show you that the radio is connecting to the flight controller and Betaflight correctly. Now the next thing we can do is I want to show you something. If I put this, my arm switch into the position that I like it to be disarmed, and I turn the radio off, and then we turn the radio back on again.
Welcome to OpenTX. Switch warning.
You're constantly going to get that switch warning because the system's set up for all the switches being forward. So we can change that. If we go into the model settings and then go page across, and then we can go page up because I think it's at the bottom. And if we go up to here, you see where it shows S warning. If you hold the enter key down, it will buzz, and now it shows you A is in the position we want. So you put the switches in the position that you will be default, and then you hold that button down and it will set them. So if we return, now if I turn off the radio and turn it back on with my switches where I want them,
welcome to OpenTX.
we won't get a warning.
Disarmed.
Now we've set up our model, let me show you how to bind your receiver to your radio. Let's bind our receiver to the radio. Now I'm going to use a RadioMaster R161, and I'm going to use my Toolkit RC M8S to power it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hit the model button, and we are going to go page across, and then we're going to go page up, and we keep going until we come to the internal RF module. Now we're going to click enter, and then we're going to go page up. Now we want the multi on, so we're going to push enter. And now you have to pick the type of receiver that you are binding to your radio. So that will depend on your receiver. But in my case, we're going to push enter, and I need to find FreeSky. And it's not RX, it's not X, it's X2. That's the version I need to use, and that is good. It is a D16 receiver. And now we then just go down to bind, So let me just show you the full options there. Fine frequency tuning will come in on a later video, but that is important. So we're going to go to bind. Now, what we need to do is hold down the bind button on our receiver, which in this case is here. I'm just going to hold that down and plug it into our power supply. There we go. And now we push the enter button to bind. We're now going to choose with this receiver, we're going to put the telemetry on. I'm going to push enter. There we go. And it should already be bound. So now we can undo our receiver. And it's come out to bind. So we plug back in. And there we go. We can see the RSSI. Let me just do that. You can see the RSSI coming through from our receiver. So our receiver is now bound. Now, if we go page across, because this is a telemetry receiver, we should be able to go to our telemetry window and just verify that. Oh, whoops a daisy, I've gone too far. Let's go again. There we go. We go to telemetry and we're going to go to the bottom and we can say discover new sensors, push enter, and there you see all the sensors have come up. So we've now bound our receiver to the radio. Now you will do this is exactly the same procedure you would do with whichever receiver you have. You just have to pick the correct protocol. Now I just want to show you this.
Welcome to OpenTX. Disarmed. Flight mode acro.
We're getting fail-safe there, so we need to set this up. This is important with a drone. So we're going to return. We're going to go into the model settings. And we're going to go to the bottom. Now, all we need to do is go where we bound the receiver and go to fail-safe. Push enter. And this is important. You set this to no pulses. So what will happen if there's a fail-safe, your quadcopter will just drop to the ground, well, obviously for safety reasons. Now I've plugged the flight controller into the computer, so let's connect. And first let's go to the receiver and check that the receiver is working fine. Now we should have, there's our throttle, and we've got roll, we've got pitch, and we have yaw. That's good. And then if we go to the armed, you can see aux1
disarmed
is working. And then we go to the modes, which at the moment will be in acro, and that's aux3.
Flight mode angle.
And then
flight mode horizon.
So there we go.
Flight mode angle. Flight mode acro.
That's working properly. And then the buzzer.
Buzzer.
On aux2. Now let's go look at the modes and we can check that everything is working 100% there. So we're going to arm.
Armed.
And I just want to show you down here, this is air mode. I'm not going to go into air mode in this video, but it's automatically activated once the quad is armed. Now we can go to the modes. At the moment it's in acro mode. If we now click
flight mode angle,
you can see we've gone to angle mode, and then we go to horizon.
Flight mode horizon.
Okay, that's good.
Flight mode angle. Flight mode acro.
Okay, and then we check our buzzer, and you can see
buzzer.
Our buzzer's active. So there we go. Everything's working as it should be. Well, I hope you found this video interesting and useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and if you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section below, because I'd love to hear from you, especially if you're a T8 Pro owner and you want some advice on using the radio. Thanks for watching. Happy flying. Bye for now.